Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Movie Deputy Reviews, where we are doing our big 12 day of Christmas reveal on our little topics and everything, and all of the things. And we're doing this as two different shows. I'm going to be doing this one as our theme reveal because there's kind of a video thing to go along with it. And as soon as I switch over to start playing the video, you're going to get the answer. But then I'm going to, of course, explain what the answer is and why I chose it. Because this one, unfortunately, out of 7,021 responses, nobody figured out the theme. Now, I really didn't think I made it that hard, so I apologize. But I think once you see the theme and you see how it plays out and just kind of everything that I was building that off of, it's going to be like one of those, And like I said, I even had the answer in the trailers for you. And on some of I kind of spliced up some of the trailers and kind of show you a little bits and pieces of all of these. And then I took out all of the audio on all of them but one. And I just left the little audio clip in there of the part that actually says the answer. Like I said, all you had to do is go back and I promise the answer was right there in front of you. But again, I do apologize. I really did not. I really thought that somebody would have figured that out. And then you're going to want to stay tuned because right after this episode, we're going to have our episode where we announce our grand prize winner and our runner-ups. And we're going to talk again about the prizes. And we're going to go over the trivia and all of the answers in case you were stumped on that. So this is going to be a lot of fun today. And don't worry, I'm not going to forget. There will be a review up for you this evening. I normally don't do the reviews in the evening, but since we're doing these special shows this morning, I didn't want to overwhelm you too much with too much of me. I mean, can you really get too much of the movie deputy? I mean, come on. I'm the deputy. You love me. I love me. I love you. So it's all good. So you may be wondering, okay, we'll get to it. What's the answer? Well, I will tell you even before I flip over, the theme to all of the 12 Days of Christmas movies, which of course, yes, there were only 11 movies, but there were 12 questions. But the 11 movies, the theme that they had in common was freedom and survival. Now, what does that have to do with Christmas? That has a lot to do with every part of our lives, all year round. And so focusing on the freedom and survival as we go over the movies and talk about them a little bit more. Hopefully that will make some more sense. But let's jump over. Like I said, as soon as I jump over, you're going to see the answer here. And you may not recognize the name, and that's perfectly fine. But then we're just going to go through that as well. And I want to be sure and bring up my movie list here because, okay, as good as I am, even I get fall behind on some of this stuff as well. So I try not to. But it happens with that. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now, the name, Roland Emmerich. That is the theme. That is the name. Who is Roland Emmerich? He is either the writer, the director, the producer, or just I was mentioned in a special thanks because he was connected to all of the 11 movies in our 12 Days of Christmas. As you see here, we are starting right off here with you can see the movie 2012, which was our day one movie on that. And we're just going to, like I said, chop these up just a little bit as it's playing here. And so it says 2012, Find Out the Truth. Now, our second movie, Midway. Now, if you are just coming on board or if you are listening on our podcast, please come over to check out our YouTube or our Rumble account where you're going to be able to see this because this is something you're going to want to see. This doesn't convey that well, just purely in audio form. So come on over to our video channels and check this out. Of course, I still want you to listen all the way through because when it gets to the audio part where it actually says the answer, like I said, I have a feeling a lot of my listeners and watchers are going to do the whole, oh my word, oh my goodness, face palm, and just wonder what in the world. Now, I did mention that this answer was also in numerous parts throughout the movies. Now, it's not on every single movie trailer, but like on Midway here, I'm about to pause this. I'm going to get it going here again. If I can, here we go. There we go. I don't want to spaz that too much, but as you can see, it's the Midway. Now I'm going to pause this right here. This was towards the end of the trailer. And if you look up into that upper right-hand corner, you'll see directed by Roland Emmerich. So it's a lot of times it was just kind of coyly, just worked in there just a little bit. Like I said, this may be a name you've never heard of, and that's perfectly fine. But like I said, I was trying not to make it too awful difficult, but the whole freedom and survival, obviously in 2012, it's about survival because it's basically the end of the world. And in Midway, it's more about the freedom and protecting and survival, of course, of all of our military men and women and things that were going on there. And of course, protecting the freedom of us in the United States of America. So that's kind of a special little thing there. And like I said, I'm so bummed out that I didn't know. I honestly didn't have anybody that even came close. The vast majority of our guesses had something to do with space or the sky, something flying. But then Godzilla threw a lot of people off. And so, like I said, I really didn't mean to make it that difficult. But let's see. After Midway, we've got Moonfall. Now, in the very part of this, beginning of this, it's like from the director of it, it lists all these movies. And this is one of those things where you want to see it because there's no audio on this portion of that. But then it just kind of says the title of Moonfall and just kind of a funny little scene there. Like I said, I did take the audio out so that I could talk as these things are going on. And also, I paused this right at the very end of Moonfall, and you'll notice there towards the middle of the screen, it says directed by Roland Emmerich. So, like I said, I tried to include it where there were some answers that were just kind of in here. And it's written by Roland Emmerich and PGA Roland Emmerich. So the name is just kind of all over this one. Now, on Independence Day and Independence Day Resurgence, because I did those kind of back to back, his name is not mentioned on either one of those trailers, but he's very well known. Like, even if you just Googled like who was kind of in charge with that, it would bring that up. And it's kind of going into Godzilla here, Godzilla, as it says in the movie. And that one is very entertaining. Now, I don't mean to be going through these so quickly, so I apologize. On the movie Truth, this is one of those ones where he had a thanks mention, as well as the movie Balloon. And it's like, okay, well, how do those fit the theme? And it's the whole freedom of press and things like that, and the truth of everything that comes out with that. And then with the movie Balloon, that one had a lot to do with the freedoms. But, I jumped ahead on that one. The next movie after that was The 13th Floor. My bad on that. And on The 13th Floor, again, it comes down to a lot of different freedoms and everything involved with that, and just different, and survival, and just, like I said, it all comes back to that central theme. And like I said, if you're watching our video, you can clearly see on the screen in large letters, and I did not put these ones. Okay, where it says Roland Emmerich towards the bottom of the screen, I did put that on there. But where it says from producer Roland Emmerich, that was right there in the trailer. I promise. If you want to go back and check it out, feel free. It's right there. Now, again, it's just kind of finishing up The 13th Floor. Looks kind of like the Matrix, Tron stuff going on there. Now we're getting into Balloon, and it just kind of talks about it's based on a true story for freedom. They risked it all. Balloon, but it doesn't mention Emmerich. But like I said, he is mentioned in the thanks there. Now, I'm going to be quiet as this one plays because we're getting into the trailer for Stargate. And this one, I promise, this audio is right in the trailer there for you. And I want you to listen, and then I will be right back. I'm not actually going anywhere, but I'm just going to be silent so that you can hear this part for yourself.
A Roland Emmerich film.
It really says that right there in the trailer. Like I said, I was trying to make this not too easy, but not too difficult. And like I said, I do apologize. I was really surprised out of 7,021 entries that we did not get a single guess of Roland Emmerich. I mean, like I said, we have a lot of other guesses. We had some really off-the-wall guesses, and just I appreciate that everybody put the time and effort and thought into it. I mean, there were some very thoughtful, just where you could tell somebody had put a lot of thought into it in some of the responses that we had gotten. But like I said, next year's theme is going to be, I'm going to work to try to make it a little bit more cohesive because, like I said, I really was hoping somebody would get it on that, and I was at least trying. I'm so glad everybody had so much fun with it, though, and I cannot wait to go over all the questions and everything with you to discuss our winners. And we've got, of course, we've got one grand prize winner, and we've got 10 runner-ups with that. And we're going to be going over all of that. But let's get back to these here. But it's where will you be the day after tomorrow? And of course, we did this one 2 days before Christmas. So the day after tomorrow, when we talked about this movie, was referring to Christmas, and that was intentional on that one. So that really didn't connect with Roland Emmerich, but I kind of had to play on that one a little bit. But at the end, it does say from the director of Independence Day. Now, that was all 11 of our movies. So, and hopefully you were able to see how Roland Emmerich's name was mentioned and how it tied into so many of the different things with the trailers and with the movies. And like I said, he was either a writer, a director, a producer, or just received thanks. And all of that can be found on IMDb. Or if, I don't know if this is something you even used Google for, or some people said that they used even ChatGPT and they got some connections with the movies. And I guess there were a couple other connections tying a couple of the ones together, but it didn't tie across all of them. And so that even included that on some of the guesses. But I won't give that away because that, who knows, that could maybe be clues for a future episode. So I'm so sorry to say that we didn't end up with a winner on this one. If somebody had come up with the theme, if somebody had solved the theme to this, the winner for this theme would have been a $25 gift card to either Amazon or the theater of your choice and a Movie Deputy tote bag. So I hope that everybody had as much fun with it as I did. And of course, be sure to stay tuned because our next episode is going to be coming up in just a few minutes. And I don't want you to miss out. So hang tight. Make sure you have those notifications turned on so you get notified as soon as the next episode goes live. You want to make sure you hit subscribe and then turn on your notifications so that you always get notified when the next Movie Deputy episode goes live. So you can get all of the latest and greatest. And you're not going to want to miss this next show where we're talking about the trivia and I'm revealing the answers to ones that stumped so many. But I can't wait to see you again. Again, thank you to all of my participants, and thank you for all of your guesses. We're going to be having more fun as 2026 approaches, and then as we're going through 2026, I've got a lot of surprises planned, and we've got some extra things coming up, so you're not going to want to miss our New Year's show as well. But again, stay tuned. I'll be right back. Bye-bye.